Hey everybody, it's Melanie coming to you from the farm. Lucky's there. I guess we'll go with this angle. I watched a movie last night that I recommend everybody go and watch. It's not like a spectacular high budget film with fancy graphics and all the things, and there's some cheesy scenes and all of that, but Sound of Freedom. I was blown away by how child trafficking works, and the story of The Sound of Freedom was based on a true story with a man named Tim Ballard, who was celebrated by our government and by our media 6 years ago, before this movie, when this movie was starting to be made. And then they were told they weren't allowed to make it anymore. And instead of stopping, they listened to their hearts and they listened to their soul, and they understood that God's children are no longer for sale, and they continued to create this movie. They found funding in other places than Hollywood, and they did what they had to do to get this movie and this story released to the general public so that we could be aware of what has been going on. I wanted to share a story with you that happened about 3 weeks ago to our own family. And we're a busy family. I'm off doing things, Chris is off doing things. We're back and forth up and down the beach. He works in Corolla. It's like an hour drive, hour and a half, 2 hours on the way home sometimes. And I come out here to my horse, and we are just back and forth. We don't spend a lot of time together anymore because it's summer, and we just do what we can do to get by. And so one day, he took Lily and Scarlett surfing, and I think Lulu was out of town with her second family and our little buddy. But he took the older two surfing, and they went down to our local beach access that we go to every time. And Scarlett got out. She was cold and she didn't want to surf anymore. And there's nobody on the beach, nobody. So she's playing by herself in the sand. And Lily and Chris keep surfing because he can see her and she's fine. She's not going anywhere. And at some point on this journey, a woman walked up to our child and sat with our child on the beach. That's when I came back from whatever errand I was running. I can't even tell you. I might have been at yoga. I don't know where I was or what I was doing. But I got back there and I saw this random person standing or sitting next to my daughter with her arm around my daughter at some points. It was like, wow, she must be like a friend of Chris's, or she must be somebody that we know. And I get closer and I'm like, I don't know who the F this person is. And I'm looking at Christopher and he's in the water and he sees the look on my face and starts to come in. And so all these thoughts are going through my head. I mean, even down to like, is this some girlfriend of his that I've not met? Like, who is this person? We're married, but I don't know this woman, and she seems very comfortable with my child. And I get closer, and she's holding her phone. So say Scarlett is here. She's holding her phone facing Scarlett with her right hand, so here. And she has the camera pointed at her face. And I walked up very sternly because I'm pissed. And I'm like, hey, who are you? And she goes, oh, I just saw her sitting alone. I didn't want her to be alone down here. I said, get away from my child. Are you video recording her? Are you recording her right now? What are you doing? Why do you have a camera in my kid's face? What's going on? And I wish I'd taken the phone from her hands. And I wish she had shown me the video that she'd taken or not taken, because she could have then blacked out the screen. She's like, no, not at all. And she walked away and I lost my marbles, for lack of a better word. I proceeded to yell at my husband for a very long time because he didn't see the wrong in this situation. Not a soul on the beach, not one soul. We live in a tourist town. There's actually 2 souls, my child and this woman. And I felt like something was very wrong in that situation. Now, having watched that movie of Sound of Freedom, I'm guessing something was very wrong with that situation. I am super grateful that I trusted my instinct. I'm super grateful that I stood up for her. I'm super grateful that I saw the red flags that my husband couldn't see. I was molested as a child and sexually abused as a child by female people born as girls and women. That's who hurt me. That was the big red flag for me. And I remember the fight with him screaming, if that had been a man down there with your child, that had been a man holding a bottle of alcohol, hanging out with your kid, with his arm around your kid, you would have been out of that water as fast as you could paddle your ass, and you would not have waited to catch a wave in. I don't care what your excuse was. You would have been there immediately, possibly punched him in the face. But because she came as a woman, you felt safety. Because the evil came as a woman, you felt like it was okay. And I explained to him my past. Again, he knows. And he's like, I didn't see it from that perspective. And so we watched that movie last night, and as we left the theater, I said, do you see why I was so upset that day at the beach? And he said, yeah. And I said, do you understand why I'm protecting these kids the way that I am? He said, yeah. And I said, do you stand by me now for why I am the way that I am? And he said, yeah. I said, good, because I'm glad we're finally like on the same page about this kind of stuff. That movie opened my mind to things that I knew were going on, but I didn't know to what extent. I didn't think about child sex hotels. That was a new concept. I didn't think about my kid playing 10, 15 feet away from another kid and having them snatched up and taken. I thought there was safety in numbers. I feel like I'm not going to fear the world, and I'm not going to be afraid of anybody and everybody, but I do know that when God tells me something's wrong, I'm going to listen. I do know that normal adults in their right mind, and normal adults that have a conscience and a soul, if they see an abandoned child, or what is thought to be an abandoned child, we'll give you the lucky. You walk up and you ask, hey, are you okay? If the kid says, yep, my parents are right over there, what do? Do you walk away, or do you engage in intimate conversation? You walk away. As a normal human being, you walk away. Why? Because I kind of have a little bit of fear of like the shit that a kid might make up, like I said or did or something. Like that would be my biggest fear, is that a parent accuses me of doing something that I shouldn't have been doing. Such as that woman with the phone. And maybe she was drunk. Maybe she wasn't making the best choices and decisions. But to me, she sought after a child that looked like she didn't have a family. And those are the perfect kids to pick up and take, because you feel like they won't be missed. I wanted to get on here and talk about that today, even though I've got places to be, and even though I have things to go do, because it's important that we talk about these things, and it's important that we protect God's children. And it's important that we stand up against the shit that's been going on. And I don't care if you call yourself a minor attracted person. To make yourself feel better about the shit that you do and the things that you do to hurt children, they cannot consent to anything. They'd eat fucking Cheetos and ramen noodles and call it food and think that they were doing a good job, because they don't know. We're here to teach them that. They don't need to be exploited. They don't need to have sex with people 5 times a day, every single day. That was another statistic that they gave at some point in the movie, that you can take a drug and create a drug such as cocaine. You can take it and you sell it one time. How many times can you sell a child? 5, 6 times a day, every day, forever, till they're 15. So if you start them real young, that's 10 years of a lot of money. And I guess money is what has driven humanity to where it is at today. And in my mind, I know that money doesn't matter. And in my mind, I know that money doesn't mean anything. It means jack shit. But to the darkness, it's power, it's greed, it's gluttony. I guess that's where I'm going to leave this video. I know that there are more people like me that are healing, and I know that there are more people like me that are out there that want change and want to do something different for this world and want it to be a better place that we can raise our children in, so we don't have to fear this kind of evil that does exist out there. That it does exist. It's a $150 billion industry. I thought that the pharmaceutical industry was the highest profiting business and industry in the world. No, I was lied to by Google. That's what Google told me back in 2018 when I started investigating a lot of crap. The highest profiting billion dollar industry would be the child trafficking sex slave industry of $150 billion a year. And guess who is the biggest consumer in the world? Us, the United States. Congratulations, guys. All of those tablets, phones that you gave your kids, they're consuming child porn. Go look up the statistics. Go look into it for yourself. I've done my research now. I know what's out there, and I just know to keep my kids away from it to the best of my ability. And if that means removing them from high school, middle school, public school, and protecting them via homeschool, that's what I'm going to do, because that's what they deserve. They deserve to have a childhood and not have it robbed from them with stupid ideology that's trying to get them more lax with sexualization and all of that, which if you go look in your kids' libraries at school, that's what you'll find. I read the books, that's how I know. Anywho, I'm gonna go now. I'm done rambling, I'm done ranting. Thank you for being here, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the messages that I've gotten all of these years, please hit the like and subscribe button, share, do all the things so that we can help get this message spread out to more people and help boost the algorithm. But with all that said, I'm gonna head out, and happy 11/11 to y'all.